Okay, so this is how to do the digital assist process for your fan art assignment. I'm doing this in Photoshop, but if you're doing it in Procreate, it's basically the same process. And again, I'm not that familiar with Clip Studio Pro, but I'm pretty sure that functions the same way. You're basically using the color wheel to make the selection of your complements and make sure you get the values right. So we'll start off with this Gorillas image and just like some real obvious stuff. You want to start with the original image, which is this one over here on the right. And let's just go for the ease of following everything. We'll just select here. I'm going to pick this red-orange color in the background. And on the color wheel, you see I selected it, and here it is. So you want the complement, correct? Which, like any color wheel or your color scales, would be the opposite of that. So you just go straight across the color wheel, click here, okay? And that gives you this kind of a blue, like a bluish green, right? So I select that color, and then I paint on it. Well, obviously the value's off. It's much, much lighter than it needs to be. So I go back to the color wheel and I use, and again, you have a similar tool in Procreate, but I go down here just to make it darker and try again. Now it's a little too dark, so I'll go back and make it a little lighter. Lighter still, a little off there. It's getting close, maybe just a little bit, right? Yeah, that's pretty close in value. If you give it the squint test, like kind of squint your eyes, they look like they're about the same value. So you see the student in here put in a yellow-green, but it's really more like a blue-green. And that is because the original color, you might think your mind says, oh, that's red. Well, actually, it's a red-orange. So because it's a red-orange, it's going to be more of a blue-green than a straight-up green. Okay, and it certainly won't be a yellow-green, right? So that's what you would do for that background. Okay, now the problem that I mention frequently, and it always is a difficult process for students to get, is the yellow to violet switch. Okay, and fortunately this has examples of both of those. So again, the original is on the right-hand side, the student's painted version is on the left-hand side. So again, I'm going to select this yellow, okay, and that's the yellow on the character's face. I go directly to the opposite, which is this kind of color. Now, obviously, that's too dark, right? So I need to make it lighter, and this is what I want to stress. Like, sometimes it seems crazy, okay, or extreme, but you have to make it almost white, okay, and watch what happens. It's like, now I've got a blue here, and I'll put it here, you can see it, okay? And it's really, really pale, but it's the same value as the yellow. It's not this dark violet. It's a pale blue violet, really pale. And that goes for the other yellow areas too. Here, right? And here, okay? So here, the purple is way too dark. And again, don't feel bad if this happens to you. It happens all the time. I've been doing this for years, and it's students sometimes just never put enough white into the paint. So now the values match a little bit better, okay, on the face of the character, and the backgrounds match too. And I'll just do backgrounds because it's fast to show you again. I'm going to select this blue background down here. Boom, there it is. It is blue. Orange is the complement. Like that, okay? And how does it look when I paint it? Well, it's too light, so I got to make that orange darker, right? That's pretty good. Even just a little bit more, I think. Yeah, that looks good. That's about the same value. And so you can see here, it's like the student correctly picked orange, and that's great. And as you've heard me say, students in general are pretty good at selecting what the complements are, but the value is the hard part to nail. And so that's how you basically do it, is like you compare what your complementary color is on the original image, make sure the value's correct, then you paint it on your actual painting. Last background I'll do is this yellow-green one over here. Boom, okay. Again, yellow-green, magenta is the complement, that's great. How does it look when I brush it? Too dark, so I'm going to make it lighter. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So the student did a pretty good job. Like, it is magenta. It just isn't light enough. You just need to lighten it up a little bit more. So this one was the closest of all the backgrounds. Okay. And that's basically how you do, the basic, make your decisions about how to mix your analog paint. If you're going to use the digital assist process, this is how you do it in Photoshop.